In the 60s, at the very beginning of the 60s, there were a few prescient souls, and of course many of them were artists, who were perceiving that photography had so completely infiltrated our perceptions that there was no way to create a great work of art without a photographic aspect. People like Robert Rauschenberg and Andy Warhol reached out to the camera. They took images from the newspapers and applied them or incorporated them within their canvases.
Someone like Rauschenberg rips out a picture from a magazine, right, and douses it with lighter fluid and slaps it down on a piece of paper, and the ink from that photographic image as it's reproduced in the magazine transfers to the paper, okay? And he takes it away and he looks at it and he said, I made a drawing. That's a huge step.
They were trying to sort of get direct overlays of the photographic interpretation of the world, which is how we see the world now, into the very substance of their art.
Andy Warhol gets completely fascinated with photographic images and how they work. What do movie stars mean? What do fashion pictures mean? What's glamour about? What makes something so ethereal, so wonderful, and so weird that you can't stop looking at it? And he takes those pictures and he drops out the detailing and makes them abstract and kind of spacey looking, and makes silk screens, and doesn't make a single painting but makes 10 paintings, 20 paintings, 30 paintings, all based on the same image that he paints on, and one's a little bit different than the other. But basically, he also is looking at the photographic images in the world, as many people after him did, and realized there's plenty of pictures in this world. I don't need to make more pictures. Let's think about what photographs mean. And that changes art.
And in the 70s, the residue from the tradition of painting, that is, paint, and the sort of gesture of the hand dropped away almost altogether.
One of the things that happens throughout this century is that information is increasingly coded into photographs. Artists began to think that if life came at us exclusively in photographic images on the media, then they would both use those images in their art and comment on the media in so doing. Cindy Sherman began making photographs of herself, of ourselves really. The photographs looked like the stills that the studios released for B movies. And the roles were the standard ones: housewife, sex pot, little girl lost, bitch. Laurie Simmons, who had grown up on television, was trying to say that our image of life was what we saw on television and magazines, what have you. And she looked at it through plastic figures playing house. She took photographs of this as if to say that life was so secondhand that even plastic figurines could represent it. Richard Prince investigated the role of masculinity in American life. He rephotographed the Marlboro ads, and then he removed the text. So you had this beautiful image of the West, which had once been an advertisement and now had been turned into a work of art.
In today's world, in the end of the 20th century, artists are clearly aware of photography as always manipulated, no matter what it is. If it's a perfectly straight photograph, it is a version of a truth. You know, it is not the truth. People think of it as a window on the world. It is, and it isn't. It is real. But it's a new reality.
I think it's the history. It's what we were and what we are and what we're going to be. I mean, I think that photography, imagine the world without it. Imagine that there wasn't photography. Where would we be? How would I know, how would I remember what I looked like as a kid? What would I think about? Well, how did my mother look when she graduated from junior high school on Mott Street? it really is. It links us all. It keeps us all together. It's what the history is. It's really what our history is. It's in photographs, and and when we close our eyes, what do we see? We see photographs. We see pictures.